Make sure the nips aren't showing. I have to have a wart censored. Just have it like move with them. We're halfway through the year, so let's take a look at the top 10 interior design trends and styles that I think are worth investing in. Welcome back to my channel. If you've not met me before, my name is Phoenix Gray. I'm an interior designer and we talk about everything design related on this channel. If you're not already, make sure you're subscribed to my channel and you can follow me on all my socials at Mr. Phoenix Gray. First on the docket isn't anything new, but it's definitely become a little bit more brand represented for a lot of people online with socials, and it is the micro luxury aspect to having decor items in your home. I get it. Furniture and decor in general is extremely pricey and it can come with a very high price tag depending on what you're looking at. This idea of micro luxury has been introduced a little while ago, but is starting to pick up momentum on socials. Micro luxury itself is having everyday items that have more of a luxurious feel to them. So I want you to think about those everyday pieces that you use constantly and repetitively that give you that little heightened sense of luxury. So we're talking about catch-alls. Spending large amounts on a catch-all or a marble tray can be pricey in some scenarios, but these little micro pieces that people are willing to spend money on give you a little bit more accurate representation of having an item that's worth more that you can see yourself investing in. We live in an age where not everyone can afford the luxury of having a home to begin with. We have a lot of people that are renting in the market that we have now. So having these little pieces like this that people are willing to invest money in still give them that heightened sense of luxury that they still get to enjoy every single day. Luxury throws are another big one that a lot of people are willing to spend money on. If you really want to go all in, you can spend the $5,000 on the Hermes Avalon blanket. Trust me, I will not be doing that, but there's that option there for people who are willing to put a price tag on something that they can look at and actually appreciate the style that works with their home, but also something that makes them feel really good about their space. Another really popular one has been the bathroom soap pump and lotion combo aesthetic that people have been trying to replicate ever since Aesop came out with that combo that everyone has loved and enjoyed. I'm talking about people spending upwards of $350 on a soap pump and lotion combo just to have that beautiful looking piece on the counter that gives them that heightened sense of a luxury. Once again, this is just my opinion. This is a lot of money to be spending on certain items like this, but at the same time, it's a micro luxury that once you buy once, as long as you take care of it, it's going to last you your lifetime. And honestly, if you want that look in a budget, you can always buy those Aesop ones and then just refill them with something else on the side. I'm not going to tell anybody. Vintage furniture has been around for ages and it is nothing new, but it has definitely had a brighter spotlight to it in the last year in terms of how hard it's been to actually get a hold of furniture for your space. Over the pandemic, we've had so many people that have redesigned or refurnished their homes, and they've come to the realization that this back order and backlog of furniture trying to get ordered from anywhere in the world has been a global issue when it comes to actually furnishing your space. This has been where people have turned to vintage. These pre-loved items that can almost be used in every single space bring a different sense of charm to when you're designing and curating looks for your space. You can get everything from mid-century modern to contemporary if you know where to look. Regardless of where you look, if you're looking at consignment stores or you're looking at secondhand, you're able to find something that's readily available to get for your space, and I can see why it's become so popular. Not only does the vintage aspect give my Design Daddy seal approval, but the sustainability aspect of purchasing vintage brings a different charm to your space. It shows people that you're willing to take a pre-loved piece, give it an entire new look and an entire new home, giving it a new purpose and outlook on life. And I think that's a really great aspect to bring in when designing your space. You're able to bring in a good mixture of vintage and new and to really make it work to give you that extra sense of charm that makes your space look cozy. The other great thing about vintage pieces is that not only are they readily available, but from a price standpoint, they are way better. You can find a vintage table from anywhere around $200 to maybe $300 versus a brand new one, you're looking at upwards of $1,000 to even $1,500. Over this past year, we've also seen natural stone making a huge comeback.
Everyone loves a good comeback story, right?
Kim Kardashian. In the video, she gets cum on her back, I think.
Over the last probably 5 or 6 years, we've had everyone converted to porcelain and quartzite, a lot of man-made manufactured pieces that are sturdier, stronger, and more tempered for a kitchen or the space you're using for them in your home. The one thing that I will always recommend about stone that is irreplicable. No, now I'm not gonna be able to say it again. I that up. I know, but that was like the middle of the sentence and now I'm gonna find a new word. That's too hard. The greatest feature about natural stone is that you can get nothing like it. It is, in my opinion, nature's purest form of art. There is no way you can simulate the actual depth and dimension that natural stone gives, and I love that it's making a comeback. Yes, marble and natural stone is a very sensitive and porous material, but when you're comparing it to everything else on the market, there's truly nothing in comparison to give you that level of artistic flair that really is represented in your kitchen or your bathroom that you're using these pieces in. With that being said, there have been a lot of really trendy natural stones that have come out of these last 2 years, especially the Calcutta viola that has been everywhere. I want you to keep in mind that if you are using a natural stone in your space, you have to keep in mind the style of your home to make sure it actually works with what you're looking for, as well as the style that you're incorporating into whatever interior design look that you're looking to achieve in your space. Statement lights are nothing new, but they've also been making a comeback in this last year that I am a personal fan of. For me, bringing in that artistic aspect is very rare when it comes to sourcing furniture and pieces for your home. Lights are a really great way to bring in that sculptural element that often lacks in your space. We're so used to seeing those like pendants, domes, and globe lights that all look the exact same. This is where you can really have fun in your space and create that artistic flair that draws your attention into a space, whether it be a wall sconce, a pendant light, or even a chandelier. With the technological advancements that have really allowed the design of lights to have that artistic flair, there is no reason you should not be using something that really can create an impact. Having any kind of sculptural element is typically where a lot of designers and homeowners lack in designing or even decorating their space. Having this artistic flair will really allow you to bring in an unrecognized element that gives you that really sculptural look that, like I said before, really draws your attention. Warm woods have been another really important style trend that has impacted the last 2 years, which can be really good as long as you're not using those honey tones that everyone had in the 90s. This is a style that's here to stay. Any tone that you use in your home that comes from a natural derivative will always be a timeless piece that, in my opinion, lasts through the ages and will always work with everything in your home. Just make sure that you are not using those gray floors. No one wants to see those. They go with absolutely nothing, and the undertones are usually green or peach, and they work with literally nothing in your home. I have seen a shift when it comes to this style working with hues of wood. For the last probably 6 or 7 years, we've been on this trend of very light, airy toned woods. We are now starting to transition into those darker, richer walnut and darker tone ones, which I'm very excited for. But I will always recommend using any kind of wood tone with a really natural hue to it. It will always be timeless in your space. Statement rugs are another really great impact to really bring color, vibrance, and that artistic flair to a space. Gone are the days of those really cheap Persian imitation rugs that really do nothing for your space, and if I'm being honest, half the time they don't work with the style that you're going for in your home. The purpose of a rug is to define a space, and a lot of people really forget that when they're incorporating into the overall design and decor that they bring into a room. Having a rug like this really gives a sense of purpose to a room to bring in that artistic element. Much like I said before of having that statement sculptural light, a rug is a perfect opportunity to bring in some extra color, dimension, and detail into a space that really livens it up. Having that extra level of texture to it really creates another level of coziness in a space that typically you wouldn't have by using a flat rug. These statement rugs can also come off as very trendy, so I want you to be very cautious in terms of what you're looking at to incorporate into the actual room that you're using it for. A lot of these statement rugs have been very like hype beast heavy in terms of creating that moment that people are bringing onto walls and using them as art and decor, but having them to create a statement within a room is what the intended purpose is for. And I think that these are a really beautiful aspect and addition into a space. I also understand that rugs can be extremely expensive. So when you're looking at rugs, keep that in mind that something like this is an investment piece and it is something that is going to last you throughout the years as long as you take care of it. I may get some hate for this one, but arches. I know they are extremely trendy, but they can really bring an unexpected shape and pattern into your space that would be otherwise very static and rectangular or square. I want you to keep in mind that if you are using arches or any way incorporated into your rooms, that they match the existing architectural style of your home and the space itself. Bringing in that trendy curve in like one area of your home is going to look so out of place and is really going to have that really disconnected look that you don't want, that you're gonna get sick of very quickly. Incorporating arches into your space, you can bring it in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be your typical door frame entrance or book frame kind of entrance itself. You can bring in curves in your furniture. You can bring curves in your side table, your decor pieces. Bringing in those arches, I think, are a really beautiful and unexpected way to bring a lot of movement into a very static space. That also being said, when you're incorporating them, I want you to think about repeating that style. So if you have one random arch of a decor piece or even a furniture piece, it's going to look out of place. So think about repeating that in multiple areas in the room and throughout your home. Having those multitudes of items that match that same style and that incorporate that organic shape is going to make it feel like it actually belongs in the space instead of sticking out like a sore thumb. Workplace flair has been another really big one that's been coming up in 2023 and will continue over the next few years. With this new incorporation of working from home and this hybrid work environment for a lot of people, working from home means a completely different thing from what we had before. Growing up in the 90s and 2000s, we had that one room that was like the office that our parents had, and it was basically a drop zone for everything, for paperwork, for taxes, for schoolwork. It really had no design element that were incorporated into a space. Having that workplace flair has really entangled that artistic flair into a space for how we show off when we're working from home. We want to be proud of where we're working and what we're working on. So having a room in your home that's dedicated to an office that's really decorated and really brings out that flair of you personally has been a huge trend, and I foresee it being a statement when it comes over the next few years. Before, it used to be just phone calls. We are now in the age of Zoom and Google Meets and everything that's incorporated digitally to see the person you're working with through the screen. Having those backgrounds in your space, having shelves up, something that gives that kind of artistic look to have a background is what people want now. So bringing in that real personal flair into these office spaces is huge in terms of trend, but also very cohesive in bringing in that style and incorporating your personality into a space. Even though I know we all love that beach green screen background, sometimes it just doesn't work, and we got to be able to show off our personality and what our space actually looks like. So incorporating your personality into it is going to make you feel proud of actually showing off your space so you don't have to have that green screen. I've also seen this year that people are not afraid to use colors. And in terms of colors, I'm talking about muted tones. Although high pigments have always been a scare tactic for a lot of people incorporating color into their space, having those more muted tones have been a huge trend over this past year that I foresee very much continuing for the next little while. These muted hues of your typical colors really allow you to bring a more colorful and artistic flair into a room without fully committing to a color. Having these muted, even pastel colors within your space really allow individuals to explore with a color without committing to it completely. Because I understand not everyone wants a red wall. It can be extremely daunting. But if you bring in that muted hue or even like a deeper oxblood color in elements in a room, it can really give you that aspect and that colorful ratio of having something that works in your space that isn't as committal. In my past video, I did a review on Kim Kardashian's home, and it really showed the lack of color and dimension in this space. This is why incorporating a color, even if it's muted or a deeply saturated one, gives you much more dimension and detail into a space that really makes it look more put together versus coming off as very flat and lackluster. Last on the list is my personal favorite is black kitchens. I may be biased on this one because it is one of my favorite things to design for clients. I'm currently working on 3 of them and I cannot wait to share them with you. But the idea of a black kitchen has also been very daunting over the last few years. Like I said in my previous video before, where I talked about the colors and how we've been in this light and airy look, we're transitioning into this dark and more moodier, masculine approach to a lot of designs that have always come back every 5 to 10 years. We're going into that dark phase that I'm so excited for, because black kitchens give so much depth, dimension, detail, and personality to a space that otherwise are completely opposite from what people are so used to. Over the last probably 15 years almost now, we have been standardized to that white, stale, sterile kitchen. Yes, it works for most, and in essence, a white kitchen will always be timeless. But the last thing you want is the exact same thing that everyone else has. We have gone from white kitchens to white oak, to white, back to white oak. We're on this very light and airy sense. Now that we're transitioning into these darker tones, I'm so excited to see these dark, black, moody kitchens approaching into the next year. They've only started picking up pace within 2023, but I bet money on it. Going into 2024, we are going to see so many more dark, moody black kitchens. So these were my top 10 interior design trends and styles of 2023 that I think are so well matched for this year and will continue into the next. Let me know in the comments which one are your favorites and which ones I may have missed. And that's it for this video. If you're not already, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and you can follow me on all my socials at Mr. Phoenix Gray. And remember, if you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do?